Was good, unapologetic gang. So I wanted to just come in and say happy day after Martin Luther King Day. And I hope you all are doing well. I want to remind you here that just a lot of things actually. The first is don't cry, Renegade. I'm not about to cry, but yes, I want to talk to you guys about what happens when all your family members feel kind of like, where are they? Where have your family members gone? You're like on your main goal, you're moving forward. What is the deal here? So I want to share with you, and this was like placed on my heart to talk to you guys about this today. So first thing, when what was brought to me was Daniel 6, and this is a story of how God was talking to. Okay, so what happened was the king had this decree, and he said, listen, you guys, for now on, nobody is to pray to any other god except for the king. If anybody does this for this allotted amount of time, then we're going to throw you in a lion's den. So what happened was Daniel had been praying every single day, 3 times a day, and just morning, noon, and night, and just like, thank you, God, thank you, thank you, thank you. And at the end, he was praying, and people just jumped up against him. Oh my gosh, hey, you know what? Didn't you like make this decree, this mandate that said, listen, we're not allowed to pray? And we found that this one guy was praying and it was not to this God. So what do we do about this? Like, how do we move forward in a space that feels like somebody's trying to throw us in the lion's den? Let me give you the quick short of the story. So what happened was God turned the lions into just sleep, just calm little animals. And Daniel was able to sleep there, and he slept with all the lions. There was no problem with that. That's a plus, right? You get in front of a lion's den, you're like, what? I mean, wow. When anybody else would have just been chewed up, which is what happened to the people who said, listen, let's sign this, let's turn this person over. So this, as it relates to family, right? A lot of us are going through some changes. Now, I want to share with you, I had been praying for something for a long time. I've been praying the same prayer for like over and over again. Now, they say like you don't have to keep praying multiple prayers. God hears you one time and that's okay. All you have to do is just say, God, just help me this one time. Boom, done. So why would I have to like continuously pray? Actually, we don't have to, right? This is like the good. But it helps me in the morning when I begin my day. I just like saying atomic prayers. I like declarations. I like prophetic words over my life. So when this happens, that's important to me. More than anything is so important to me. So I feel like I'm armed when I go out into the day. And I always say, God, reveal to me what's going on with my enemies. Who is it? Who is doing this? What is the snare? Show me the table. Show me who is doing things. Show me, show me, show me. Can I tell you, lo and behold, yes, it was absolutely shown to me. And it was a little heartbreaking, to say the least. But I mean, also at the same time, when I was traveling the other day, I was on a like worship drive, and I was shown, my God, my God, my God, they didn't actually harm me. Like, things that was what they wanted. Like, what happened was they had gathered there. Now let me tell you what happened in Daniel. In Daniel 6, the king fasted. He didn't sleep. He was just wanting to see who was doing this, who was not like honoring me. And this is what you'll notice some family and friends have done. They will gather around you only to sit and wonder, okay, hey, like, what is this person up to? Has what I was doing, what to harm them, is it working? Now, I was in the shower after my workout, and God straight up showed me this. God showed me this was what, after, there's all kinds of energies, attacks, all of a sudden family acting weird, and just I was so like used to people not being nice that when I went into law school, I was like, it took for somebody else to be like, girl, they are hating on you. And I was like, oh really? Oh, that's hate? Because I was so used to feeling that in my own house. So anyway, it took for me to be around different people, like, because it didn't feel good in my house. I mean, it was not a very healthy household. I mean, I'm talking like physical violence, sexual violence. I'm talking all kinds of issues, spiritual issues. So this is why it's so important for me to share this, not because I'm like praising the devil, but because I'm praising God. This whole time, I just been seeing God only for my good, where, like, what, somebody tried to like get me to have no money. The worst thing that happened was I lost my job. The best thing, I mean, at the time, I didn't see it, right? Like, why am I losing my job? But I was never meant to work for anybody. And so when you're realizing and you're recognizing, look, my family's not here, and like the environment's not even good, but I want to hold on to this name. I want to hold on to this. Now, I was being shown a lot. I'm going to share this with you. I had recognized that it was 3 members of my family. Now, this had come from my father's side of my father's house, and they were doing everything they could to harm me. And I would just remember being a little kid and being like, oh my gosh, hi. And they were so standoffish, and I was like, why are they so mad? And here I was like maybe 10 at the time, 6, 2 months old, a week, just young. And how would I not be able to, feel loved? Like, how does that happen? What does child do to you? Right? But this is a household. Like, I shared this with you guys in a previous post that it says in the book of Matthew that your enemies are going to come from your own house. I can't speak up. But your family members are going to come from your own house. So while you are here and I'm sharing this message, I just want to decree and declare over everybody's life that 2021 is going to be the most amazing time of your life. And no enemy is going to stop you. Even if they try to throw you into the lion's den, even though people are like hyper vigilant and wanting to make sure, hey, what's happening in there, what I've done in their lives, is it working, how bad is it? There were several times where these family members were brought me around just so they could see. I wrote a book about one of the times. It was called in my book, called Something to Show for It. It's my journey of how I walked out of law school, and well, I didn't walk out. Certain events were just painful. They were just triggering more and more things, and I just couldn't. It was just not for me. Like, given the circumstances, I was swimming with sharks. I was going to school with sharks. This is why a lot of attorneys get their bad reputations. So, like, why would I want that, right? Why would I? At first, I wanted to effectuate change, but after being around like a group of people with whom we share somewhat of the same blood, how is it that they're harming. Where does that, how does that happen? Where does that even come from, right? Who does that? But these are host houses, these are guest houses, these are where demons come in, and this is where jealousy comes in. So this was the first time, like, I was like, okay, now I'm feeling they don't want to be there. My little sister said to me, I was so scared for you. Like, I really see what's going on. And I saw it too after getting some space. None of them cared, and not so much in a victim mentality, but they just genuinely don't like me. They just hate my guts. I don't know, you're like, what do I did as a kid, but I want to share with you that when this is your own family, you're actually free from this. You're free. Now, my pastor said something very interesting yesterday that it just got to me, right? He said, when in the Bible, when it says God prepared a table before my enemies, he didn't say it was for all of them to come and sit and eat with you. It's a table of one, but they just to sit and prepare so they can say, come and see what God's done. No, you can't eat, but it's just in front of you. So I'm just declaring that in this year of 2021, all those people that have messed with you and tried, but it didn't work, and they're going to keep trying and trying and trying. And I'm just declaring that God is continuing to confuse every enemy in your circle of influence. Anybody using any sort of remote control or any sort of altar or any fetishes, anything like that, that you don't have to suffer in silence anymore. God has your back. And I know you're like, well, what is this? I mean, you don't know what I'm going through, Marina K. Listen, I know it's hard right now. You might be in that season where it's just painful. You might be in a season where it's pruning, and you know what? God's just revealed your enemies. That was a prayer that I prayed. God, show me who is doing harmful things to me. Now, I was almost going on a goose hunt. Like, who is it? Is it, just show me what's going on. Why can't I see? Just show me. And, I'm really happy to say that, although it hurts when you find out, because you're like, what did I ever do to you? Like, what did I ever do? Why me? That's kind of, I don't want to say that's the wrong attitude to have, but that's what they want you to do. This was why they were chosen to be doing demonic, unreasonable, evil, wicked things. They will come and do this and pretend and maybe even send you money after they've tried to harm you to make sure you have no money. Oh, it's all right. Look, let me send you $50. And you're like, oh, thank you so much. I really needed it. But do you know that our God is a God of war? So this is not your battle. I just want to say that when you recognize that, you just have to kind of be like humbled. I know that's like a wrong thing to say right now when you're discovering who your enemies are. What do you mean it's time to be humbled, Marina K? Really, yeah, you want to be humbled at this time because it was something so amazing, so bright, so like godly about your presence, even if you weren't even sure who God is, even if you weren't even sure what your own light was about, even if you don't even know what kind of message or what kind of, I'm feeling it, even if you don't even know what kind of mission you had come into the world to do, right? But all you know is you have all these problems. Now, you'll know if you start having a lot of problems again. If random things seem to start going wrong, you're like, what? How did that happen? What did I do? Did I manifest this? Right? This was like one of the first things I said. I ended up losing 3 different jobs. I was like, did I manifest this, God? Like, how am I losing 3 jobs? I just leave law school. I go to work inside of a law office, and all of this was just there sitting there quietly. Oh, and then not only this, but I recognized, wow, why was it that every single person that my parents brought into my house ended up causing some kind of mess for me in my life? right? My parents fostered and then adopted someone who, sexually abused me and was lying and all kinds of stuff. Then they bring other people from his side of the house just so they're watching me grow up, everything like that, and they're just harming me. So I want to remind you, it doesn't, like at this time, I don't even know I have this light. I'm just so happy. I'm a little kid. Somebody says, hey, you have some like great or bigger uncles or brothers or aunties, mamas or grandmas or something like, or maybe sisters, and you're just so happy to like meet someone new, and your heart is warm and welcoming. Now when you are finding out about this and your heart's like, but I wouldn't even think of doing that to somebody. I wouldn't want that to happen to their kids. I wouldn't want that to happen to them. Now what they're doing with themselves, that's their issue. Now God repays them double, triple, quadruple, 7 times whatever it was that they were sowing. So if they're sowing evil, guess what they're going to get this year? This year, 2021, is your year. This is your year of justice. This is your year where you're going to start to ascend. This is your year where you're going to start seeing all kinds of mess go down, and you're, like I said, you're gonna be like, when am I gonna get off this bumpy little choo-choo ride? Like this roller coaster is a lot. But I am here to tell you, I am here to remind you today that the enemy has no control, no will, nothing over your life. They may have tried, like I said, but it's not going to work. Whatever mess or gossiping or whatever, look, that's cool. Sometimes it's just a battle and it's not yours. It's just a fallback, because at the end of the day, the war is going to be so big, and our God is a God of war. That's all I'm telling you guys. So this is not your battle. Just give it over to God. Just make sure that you are keeping straight. Make sure you keep fasting. I mean, once every month is enough, right? Maybe you have to go once every 2 or 3 months, or quarterly, every few months you want to fast. Every few days you want to make sure that like you're going in through really long prayers. I'm talking like an hour-long prayers. Maybe in the morning you don't have time, so you can only say your 20-minute morning prayer. You can only say your thanks in the afternoon. You can only give your little prayer points, and then you just praise God at night, and then at midnight just cancel all plans and command your mornings. That's exactly how it's going to go. But don't stop, you know what I mean? Let me tell you something. It's really important for you to just keep writing down all of the good things that are just happening, all the things that you're continuing to be blessed with, because when you sit down and you are about to be blessed in front of your enemies, my God, there is nothing that God can't do. And so if God was able to just allow those lions, and let me even share with you, right? I have a jaguar bite on my breast. That was all that happened. Yeah. It's really interesting to see people in this area here. That was all that happened. You know what I'm saying? Did I die? No, it was just an itty bitty mark. Okay, it was some stitches too, but that was it. Like, I mean, my breast is still intact. I mean, I had a story for a book. So just keep going. They may want to try to stop you. They may want to make sure that you're tired, make sure that you're cranky, but you have to just remind yourself that this is not yours. Make your flesh weak and your spirit strong. I know it's hard sometimes where you're like, I can't even fast today. I'm just so depressed. Like, all I want to do is just, have 2 dates with Ben and Jerry and just hang out. We ain't going nowhere. We have our nightly meetings and we have dates with Netflix, and it's all right. It's serving me right now because this is all I can carry. I want to remind you to keep reading whatever word of God that you have, whether it's to listen and if you need to listen in any sort of, I don't know, YouTube. I use Bible.is. That's a really great app. It will just speak to you. If you need to, like, sometimes at night, I need to play sleep verses or I am or affirmations for my sleep. And when you wake up, and when you remember dreams, it's important for you. It's not every single night that you wake up and you remember your dreams. I'm talking when the dreams are so profound, wake up and write them down, and make sure you keep some sort of voice memo. Make sure you keep your cell phone close to your bed. Make sure you're doing all of the things that's important for you in order to move forward. Make sure you're doing those things, because if not, I mean, it does feel like at some times it feels like, geez, I mean, I can't remember these dreams, but I know I want to move forward, but I know I was supposed to, this was so odd. When you do all this and you start piecing things together, and people start coming into your mind, or, oh, wow, I remembered that this person was supposed to do this. And just keep focused. This year, I'm telling you, the next few years is going to be so, I'm just so happy that, just stay upright. Just stay upright. No matter what they try to do, they keep doing this. Stay sober and vigilant. Stay prayerful. And sometimes you can't. Sometimes there's just moments where you're like, I have had 20,000 things to do today, and everything or anything that might have been able to be like pushing my buttons almost did. And I'm on a budget today. I don't have a lot of expense for a lot of like mess or to be happening in my life. I mean, I get where you're coming from because we're all at this stage. We're all in different stages. But this is not the time for anybody to be questioning what it is that you're about to do, or where you're going, or some of the things that, it's really interesting to be in my car and be doing this. But so this is not the time for any of you to be like questioning this. This is the time for you to just say, you know what? I've been given the word that I have the victory. I've been given a word, and you just hold on to the promise. This is what it means to hold on to God's promises. Sometimes you don't understand what that means, and you're like, how have I been given the victory? What is it that, why are these people always coming against me? Let them come at you. There was a time I was almost even fearful, like, I can't talk to this person or that person. And, like, what should I do about this, God? Because if I had pulled myself away from everybody in the family, because it's an echo chamber. What if they find out I'm doing good, right? Oh, did you hear? She's traveling now. Oh, did you hear? She published another book. Did you hear? She's in laws. Did you hear? Did you? And all of this only inciting so they can continue sending more money for sacrifices or God knows whatever else, right? But the devil is a liar. So fear is just, that's not God. God did not give us the spirit of fear, but one of power, love, and a sound mind. These are the spirits that God gave us. So when it's operating under any sort of anxiety or something like that, sometimes that's not God, honey. I don't know what that is, but that's not God. So you have to go and command that spirit to go back into the fiery pit of hell, because that has no business belonging into your life. This is your year. If you're not somebody who is trying to cheat, steal, kill, harm anybody, or do anything that's if you've not fallen before your face and repented of a lot of things, this is the time to do it. It's not too late. It's really not too late. And the fruits of what you're going to see is going to be so beyond. I mean, everybody's jaw is going to drop. And then they're going to try and act like, or try to overthrow you out of this seat of throne of which, small sprinkles of heaven that is coming down for you. They're going to try all kinds of mess, but they're not going to in the in the name of Jesus. In the name of Jesus, none of this is going to come and harm you. And we cast that spirit down into the pit of hell. Do you all hear me? Do you understand that there is nothing that you can't do, be, or have? Everything is going to work out for the good. And as long as you are doing right, you are being upright, you are just, you're doing good things, and you're being responsible with some of the responsibilities, or somewhat, some people might call them burdens, of what God's given you. Listen, being so empathic, being so sensitive is not a bad thing. I made a video about this previously, right, where I was talking about how I had a friend, she didn't quite understand me. There, people might say you're crazy. Here I have like such a sensitive, beautiful heart, right? I'm doing what I can to help my friend. Oh yeah, let me just buy a few things for you. Let me get this. Like, let me go to the store. You thirsty? Let me get this. She leaves my stuff outside and takes hers in the car, and I'm like, why did you do that? And she's laughing. That was funny. Didn't even go outside to get it. Told me to go and get it. I had done something else and she didn't even honor that. So here I'm thinking, okay, are you just having a bad day? Are you really a nasty person, or are you just having a bad day, or what's going on? Because sometimes we have to test every spirit, right? So we're like, God, please show me what's going on. And it's only through people's actions, then you're going to start saying, oh my God, okay, like, is this how it goes? Is this, are we cool? Does she have a problem? What is it? So it wasn't only until this situation happened that I'm like, okay, she's a nice person. She don't know how to talk to people. She just got some issues. She is socially just not there. And she also having a bad day. She don't know how to have friends, but she's not a bad person. So it's like, okay, it's situations like this where we have to start testing spirits, right? This is what it means. But when, like, I went back and I shared this to the person who was harming me, I went to his house, because I mean, there's something about the innocence of a child that just pulls you in. And I went to go see his kids, and I was like, oh my gosh. And every time he speaks to his kids, he's just so angry. And I'm like, what warrants that level of anger? Stop crying. And you're like, okay, is this just, you being masculine? And just like, is this what maybe masculine energy is like? Just like yelling at your kids? I mean, but such aggression where my heart was like scared. Almost, actually not almost, but I was scared. And again, this happened. And when I was just so happy, I was just feeling, oh wow, I've been set free. And this man is just angry. And I knew that it had nothing to do with me. I'm just like living my own life. I'm obeying what God has told me to do. I've just finished a fast on my way down to go and see them, and I was like, well, why not? I just want to see how the kids are doing. I mean, it would just be nice to see them. And then I saw it face to face. You will know. I want to remind you, if you're not sure about this person, you're like, Mordecai, but maybe like I have to be around them 20, 40, 50 times. And it might be 3 or 4, just so you can know. I mean, my God, if I was going through all of those spiritual attacks at that time and somebody had really just like judged me and been like, she's not a good person, that would have, I mean, I genuinely had lost a lot of associates at that time because I was going through it. Like, I mean, it's not just, okay, hey, I lost my job. Okay, I lost my house. But I hadn't lost anything. Like I wrote in my book, I had gained so much. With no house, guess what? I have a passport. With none of that, guess what? I'm in a country where I could just hop an Amtrak or a Greyhound and start over in the next city. I mean, and it might be hard for a few, 3, 4, 5 days, but some of these people, if they were in those footsteps where you were, they would not have been able to start over again. I just want to remind you that they probably would not have been able to, like, oh man, you're just so strong to them. And then they're going to just keep trying and trying and paying, or gossiping or doing whatever they want to say about you on the internet. Just let them keep doing it, because it's not going to harm them. Don't go back. Don't even try to respond. Just let it go and keep your eyes fixated upon God. This is the message that I was given this year. Well, I want to say last year because it was 2020. But that was the message that I was given in 2020. I wanted to focus on other things, and God said, keep your eyes on me. Keep your eyes on me. Just remain fixated on me. I'm going to take you through some places, but just don't worry about that. Just keep your eyes on me. And I can tell you from that point, you know, it's funny, like God is works in some very interesting ways, and he will not let his children be touched. He will not let his children be harmed. God gives people free will, and then at some point, then it's time to come around. So this, whatever illustration they're making of you, oh, she was wild, she was crazy. I don't think that's beyond what other people would call maybe hormones, would call maybe a lot of times when I work with kids, or I work with adults, or I work with in schools, I can honestly see, oh my God, this kid was never understood. You dropped him. And not when he was just a baby. Like, you dropped the ball. You didn't even take time to understand how sensitive or anything that this child was, if he just or she just needs love. So in that situation, I'm not crying, I'm just getting my voice box together. So yeah, in this kind of situation, it bees like this sometimes. It be like this. I hope. Yeah, let's see. Yeah, there we go. It's like this sometimes. So with all this said, I just want to remind you guys, like I said in a previous video, whom the sun sets free is free indeed. And the sun has just set you free. Every single day, I promise you, it may be rainy or cloudy or snowy, or there might be blizzards or something like that wherever you are, but whom the sun sets free is free indeed. So you guys pray, pray, pray. Fast, fast, fast. If you don't get your answer that day, at the end of the fast, at the end of that day, just don't worry. Sometimes it's just not time yet. As a lot of people who I had been associated with, like traveling, it's so easy to just meet a bunch of people and be like, hey, how's it going? Where are you from? Yeah, that's cool. And I like to stay in touch with people. That's how real relationships grow. Hey, how's it going? There was people I sat next to on a plane. We were still in touch 5, 6, 7 years, and we just talk about everything, like things you would say next to somebody on a plane. But I want to remind you that I'm not losing my voice. That's one thing. I want to remind you that sometimes some of these people aren't for you. Some people are surveillance, and it's not in a good way. And I will talk to God, and it's not time for me to share, but I had some dreams. And it's not time for me to share yet, because more and more will start to be shown unto me.